So your parents were first generation here.
Yes.
And then you were born in 94.
Yep.
And you were born in Seattle, like born... Sorry,
Kirkland.
Kirkland. Oh shit! Signature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was born in a Costco. Yeah. Right next to the diaper aisle. Yeah. That's where I was born.
But
yeah.
you don't like it here, right? Like we've talked about this. Like
I
shit all over the scene, and like
that's what I'm becoming known for. Is here's the thing.
Well, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
It. Like you just said that you feel like you've been here, and it's time for you to look at other stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I mean,
the cleaner, nicer way of
the
saying
clean,
that.
yeah, the more
Fuck
PC.
this
Yeah. Here's the thing. I do love it here, and I see why people love it here. Seattle has changed also quite significantly since like my parents came here and stuff. Obviously, every city changes. But I was born and raised here, you know, and so it's just like I think everyone should have that experience of going and living somewhere else. And I also feel like I'm just getting really tired of the scene. I'm tired of the weather. I'm tired of like, some of the like living in a bubble, and, Seattle is a bubble, like,
sure.
so
what do you want differently though?
I want to live in a bigger, more diverse city because I've never really had that chance to be living in a city.
But
so
what about like rural areas? Let's put you over...
do they have comedy clubs in rural
areas? It doesn't matter, right? Like cornfield, like Chappelle did.
Yeah, I have the Chappelle audience. Yeah, they really love me.
Yeah. Just let's put you in Trump country for like 15 minutes.
But you know what? They would eat me up.
They would like you.
They would love me because I have hardworking immigrant parents who came here legally. I would. Yeah, I would just have to tell one of my jokes, and I'd be chased out of town. So
I find it interesting because I've lived in like 10 states, so I have like a
you have
blend.
A different perspective on it.
Yeah, and I just think in general, like people are people. Like those lines that get drawn, a lot of times there's people like to draw conclusions about stuff they've never experienced. Kind of like the room that we were just talking about, where it's like they've never been to that space,
and
but they don't.
They're
going to make judgments, and that goes in every direction.
Yeah,
and I found for the most part, I mean, Clayton English, he was a comic from Atlanta that came through, and he was talking about like how screens are the issue, where it's like people see stuff on a screen and they draw all these conclusions about people, places, and things. But the reality is when you go and hang out with most people, they're good people and they're like kind wherever you go. And he also had a thing where he's like 1 out of 7 white people has a vineyard. But like, he's like, so you just never know.
You never know.
You want it, like you want to be cool
invite.
with everybody.
You want the invite.
But like,
that's fucking funny.
I think what he's saying makes a lot, from my experience when I've traveled a lot. Yeah. There are people that I don't want to associate with, but for the most part, I like most people. Yeah. And I do think like congregating large amounts of people in one small space, like it's like this tent, like this boiling pot at times where it's like you're on top of each other and like Sorry, I'm just gonna pause for a second. Take my earring out so that I don't ruin your. I felt like it was ruining your thing. Okay. Yeah, I also I feel that I can totally like vibe with you on that, but I also feel like I've had my perspective shifted just because like we're both white, you know what I mean? Like that's just one small example, right? For sure. But like, okay, so like whatever, I studied abroad. Okay, we're not going to talk about it, but like I remember studying abroad and I was like, in Spain. Okay. Important for context. But I remember being like, this is like the best ever. Like I'm having such a good time. And then one of the girls on my trip was like, yeah, people are fucking racist here. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, obviously I'm having a completely different experience than you are, where I'm more likely to be welcomed wherever I go than, someone who's like a woman of color, sure. So it's like, that's been, I feel like it's important to be in places and spaces where you're not the
dominant, like welcome, person. Sure. And
my buddy, I did the same thing. We went to Colombia.
Yeah. Oh, my dream.
We went to Cartagena, and it was really cool. It was like a mission trip.
Okay.
I was on a lot of drugs. I wasn't in a good place. Like I say
it was a mission trip, but on drugs. Okay.
I call it a mission. We went for a week to
do
help
ayahuasca.
Kids at cancer hospitals and like hand out supplies and stuff.
And what kinds of drugs were we on?
It was like towards the end of my addiction. So like I was taking like, I think it was like 24 credit hours. I was trying to get to the end. I was just doing too much. Yeah. And like, it was how I was like handling the stress.
Okay.
But
so you're full throttle down there.
Oh yeah. And my buddy's Chinese and he's from Shanghai. We get down through customs. Guys with AK-47 show up and they booted him off the plane, sent him back to South Beach. So he didn't go. He missed like 4 days on the trip, but because Colombia and China had tension at the time, he didn't even get to go. He ate like McDonald's in fucking South Beach for 4 days.
But you're like, have a great time.
He enjoyed himself in South Beach, but like when we got down there, all the Colombians hated him because he was Chinese. So it's not like people are racist
everywhere.
Across races too, right? Like it's not like it just goes one direction.
Yeah.
I've seen some wild shit on basketball courts where like black dudes are calling Asian guys islanders and shit, and they just like there's this weird hierarchy of what you can say and can't say, and like I don't know. It's like it's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. Like I said, I think it's good to put yourself in sometimes uncomfortable situations, unless it's dangerous. Like I want to clarify that.
With AK-47.
Yeah. But it is kind of bizarre to think about. And then like also like, I don't know, my family's Bosnian. That's like, to me, that's the whitest fucking country on the planet. I thought you were
just white.
I'm like just white. Yeah. No, we are, everyone there is white. Yeah. Like I wish it wasn't that way, but it's just like the whitest, milkiest country you've ever seen. Like it's,
sausage is the like.
But the thing is, it's like there's Roma people there. There's Roma, Romani. I actually don't know what's proper. But it's like there's other like cultures and ethnicities and stuff that have kind of just been wiped out by wars and stuff. Like there used to be a Jewish population in the capital, and now it's like 0.003% or something like that.
What do they do for fun there? I don't like. I like. I feel like I'm like reading like an atlas right now. Like, what do you enjoy there?
You know what? People love to go out and like
love war.
Yeah, they get a coffee and they drink the same cup of coffee for like 5 hours, which I love. Okay. I love that about my people. I love that they will like sip on something all day. They like.
That was the first thing you asked for when you came. You're like, "Do you have any tea?" I need something to sip on.
I'm being sacrilegious by not having coffee, but it's a big coffee culture. Yeah. Huge. People like to go out and drink and go clubbing, and it's a very social place, which I love, and it's very like relaxed, slower pace life, which I think is beautiful and wonderful. And I'm actually like, it makes me happy that is still like a thing, even through all the wars, that people just like to socialize and be together. And, that has like run through
some of the influences from like Western Europe, right? Like
there's a big Turkish influence there. So a lot of the words some of the words are Turkish and stuff.
But like behaviorally, it just sounds like a slower pace. Like it's more Spanish. That's what comes to mind.
Actually, I think
I might just be putting that on this situation.
I actually think
it's kind of Spanish.
Hey, everything's a little Spanish, right? No, I think that is accurate though. Like Spain, to me, I feel like a lot of Bosnians would love Spain, and it's I think a similar culture. I've always said Latinos and Balkan people are very, very similar.
Is that why you get along with Chris Mejia so well?
Chris is a fake Latino. No, I'm kidding. That's Chris. I love you. I'm sorry. No, I think Chris is a homie, but no, I find myself very much getting along with people who are either from a different culture or background or whatever it is, or their parents are immigrants. Mm-hmm. I just naturally end up gravitating towards them. I don't get along with people who grew up with money and just like Wonder Bread whites, basically. Yeah. But I mean, I have friends from, all walks of life, but the people that I click with instantly are the people who probably most likely have parents from somewhere else.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I just think there is something, obviously every culture is unique and beautiful in its own way, but there is something about the immigrant experience and I think being othered and seeing your parents be othered, where we can live in both worlds, right? As their children, for the most part, at least I can. No one ever clocks that I'm, from somewhere else. Maybe if they see my name written down. But like watching your parents live through those experiences and just seeing like, their fears and anxieties of coming to a new country, you're just raised differently. You just are. And so I think there is like kind of this, thorough, like put through line of like all cultures kind of can feel this kind of sense of camaraderie.